So I'm just setting up the space here as we wait for others to join us. And for those of you who are tuning in here live with me, welcome. And for those of you who will be here and watching the replay, welcome to you too. It's all in divine timing. And so today's live is actually, I would say in reflection and homage, doing something different that I haven't done in a while. Live here, leading up to the full moon this weekend in Pisces. So I wanted to do a little bit of breath work, a little bit of oracle messaging. So that means, sharing what pops up for us as a collective, a little bit of the energy, as well as if anyone is here, wanting to have a question or maybe having a card read for themselves, an energy read for themselves, then that's what we'll be doing. And so in the meantime, I always like to just set up the space, just because that intentionally just helps with the focus. For those of you who have worked with me, and also part of the priestesshood tribe, and I know a lot of us here are priestesses, and let me know if you're here. Just drop a fire sign, a crown sign, a rose. And so with the priestesshood, we always discuss that everything we do with intention eventually, essentially, becomes a ritual, right? A ceremony. And so even in this moment here, hey, embodying priestess, high priestess. There we go. I'm actually just setting an intention for us. We were supposed to have this live yesterday, and just a couple things popped up, and then I totally forgot it was Monday. So I'm like, you know what? I'm here. And also time is all relative, right? So I have here lit for us. It's a dragon's blood incense. And just wherever you are, if you're here, you're watching the replay, just placing your left hand over your heart and just allowing yourself to take a deep breath in through the nose. And breathing out through the mouth, allowing yourself to hear the sound of your breath. Breathing in, drawing in peace, love, unity, respect, and exhaling, relaxing the shoulders, everything that maybe you're carrying that you brought in from the day. I can't wait to hear. And whenever we tune into the oracle, our own inner oracles, anytime you practice a ceremony, intention, ritual, it's always very important to ground yourself, to ground into your body, into the present moment, so that our minds are not wandering out in the past with anything we brought in, anything that happened earlier. And also important to not have it so far ahead, right? Just to be right here in the present moment, enjoy the moment. If you need another deep breath in through the nose, feeling the heart expand, and opening up the mouth and breathing out. And so just as you inhale through the nose, hearing the sound of your breath, and breathing out, allowing the body to relax. And allowing yourself to find your sit bones, find your feet touching the earth, the seat. If you're maybe just listening to this as you're walking, feeling your feet in the ground, all four corners of the feet, rooted. And so just having a little bit of light sound therapy, healing, just to ground ourselves, to be present. And I'm actually using today, I'm welcoming a water koshitra. And I guess it's always just good to tune in, you know, what is the most present thing coming in for us. And at least for me, most recently, has been, I would say, kind of emotional. Emotional in the sense that being in Virgo season, Earth, you know, that's more grounded. But with Pisces coming up and our inward emotions, right? That is water signs, so emotions and feelings coming up. And with that, that's like the depth of the waters. Something also true with Pisces, it's very psychic energy. And so, especially if you are High Priestess, if you're someone who considers themselves to be an empath, right? You're sensitive to energy, right? Psychic abilities. You're clears, right? Whether that's the visions, the hearing, sensing, that might be a little bit hyped up in the next coming days, and especially because we're in Tuesday, today's Mars Day. And so the full moon in Pisces is coming in, and so it's very potent in the psychic, right? So dreamscape, couple of things to consider in the next coming days. Are you being too like aloof, too dreamy, not taking enough action? Are you feeling so much into the emotions and the depths of the emotions that you're feeling like a victim or martyr? And so with that, those are just a little bit of tidbits. As the next coming days come, you know, I'll share some more from my retrospect here. And so, with that being said, you know, asking the Oracle any particular message that comes through for us. And I know for one, I know this Lord Ganesha is one of my favorite ones. I always tune into this energy, especially right now is perfect. Because Ganesha is the Lord of, you know, destroyer of obstacles, remover of obstacles. And so he also has this beautiful kind nature spirit, protection. You feel nurtured, safe in his loving arms. And he always has good intentions. And so especially with full moon releasing this week, and when it comes to your intentions, your guidance, if you do energy work in terms of manifesting, especially in the subconscious, and bringing that into this physical realm, the obstacles will be coming up, especially when it comes to those things that, again, have you been too much into the emotions, too much in the ether realm, that you're not taking the action needed, right? You're the divine inspiration. And so for those of you who, you know, are new again, my name is Stephanie, as High Priestess, Divine Cosmos. I work with energy. What I do is I help to assist in clearing, rebalancing your energy centers, right? Whenever it is that you're feeling too stuck in one realm, whether it's too stuck in the 3D, too stuck in the energetic ties that might be blocking you, weighing you down, and helping to clear those up through practices, whether it's mostly shamanic journeys. And shamanic journeys are really meditative, deep journeys that allow you to connect to your spirit guides, higher self, unity consciousness, right? All one that is. And through different means. And so when it comes to our intention today, you know, what is the message? What is the guidance? What is the word for or focus for us to see for this week? You know, it's always good when it comes to divination and oracles. There's so many ways to really help get a sense of what is going on in your life, a little bit more of a understanding from a higher perspective, so that you don't feel so like lost, or again, like too much in one aspect. And what you could say is the really deep waters of translation that the mind or your human experience, because of fear, thinks this is it, this is reality, right? But reality is always in a different, there's more to the story, right? And that being said, I was actually thinking about this today, or for the past couple of days. I work mostly from the spiritual perspective, the energetic world, right? Realms. And that's where we find a lot of our solutions, and we bring it out here. And one major thing, or two, that I feel like are coming out right now, we'll have and see what's going on. So we got two cards here. And the first one we have is Revelation. It's actually pretty interesting, because we were just saying, literally, before we drew Revelation with this Lord Ganesha card, you can see he's high above from the perspective, and he's high in the cosmos. So that's the gaining of a higher perspective. So from what it looks like this week, especially with, clearing things and looking into the deep void of our emotions, or anything that's coming up, wherever it is that you will be finding yourself in. From that is the vortex that allows us to go high above. That is the vehicle of transformation, the vortex, for gaining that higher perspective, for the higher truth that will be revealed. Symbology, it's always good. And from here, a lot of purple is royalty, crown chakra. And also not just purple for like divine intuition, right? That third eye as well, but the crown being laden in gold. You can also take a look at symbology where focus, especially with Pisces. If you feel like the focus is not there and clear, and you're looking for your solution, your answers, right? That's something else where focus. And I'm always doing this example in the high temple, StarSeed temple, where we gather for a full moon and new moons, where I'm always talking about like having these spiritual lenses, kind of like a horse, that's a racehorse, right? And you only see your path, you only see your intuitive guidance, you only hear the guidance of your word. And so that's what I feel like that image is coming through. Being focused this week so that you can allow yourself to really ground yourself. And focus means, grounding the energy. Sometimes when we are so much in the emotions, or like so much in the mind, you're kind of like up here and you feel like you're floaty. You feel like you don't have a good grasp of a good handling of where you're stepping on, right? Your mind is over there in 20 different spots, but your physical body is like right here. That's why I said when we ground in the very beginning of any practice, especially when we gather together, it's like, okay, let me set the intention to feel where I am, to smell where I am, to hear where I am, right? To focus my eyes where I am. And that just helps for you to ground. That helps for you to become more of a clear channel, and to start really listening, getting to know and tune into the sound of your own intuition. And then a second one that card called out to here is belonging. So belonging, having the sense of longing, a sense of yearning. And that's another sign, or another thing you can gather from the sign in Pisces of the full moon. There's a sense of why we dream. So that really this dream of yours is a part of a puzzle, right? A part of the piece of the puzzle for the collective to be shared, to be heard, and to be seen. Other things that I can see, at least here, we have the mountain in the background. your journey, it might feel like as if it's one where it's been long and a long journey that you've been on for a while. Where maybe the path has been pretty solo, right? And then from what I see, two things popping out. We have the rat that, Lord Ganesha. It's like, I believe it in the myths. Ganesha has like a rat, right? A little mouse pet friend. And you have the food, support, nourishment. And so on the journey that you've been on, might have been feeling a little alone sometimes, or even right now at this point, and we always have ebbs and flows, there's a sense of a belonging, and whether it is just emotionally and physically you wanting to belong somewhere, but even so, maybe the wisdom that's going to come, the revelation that's going to come, it's something that it's just needing, that would probably assist to fit in what it is you've been looking for, the solution. Any other things that come here with the two and revelation and belonging here. For this, we'll probably go and dive in to the third one, which is actually one that I just received, but I've pulled a bit this weekend, and I really kind of connected. I really resonated in terms of the feminine aspects, and this is actually from the Divine Feminine Oracle. So she is the new deck that we got through this week, and with the Divine Feminine Oracle, you see a lot of Divine Feminine energies, women that we know, whether through history, through myths, right? In the spiritual realm, community, right? And a lot of the stories help me to gain strength, especially because they've gone through something in their lives, and they've always stuck to their truth, right? And so it's such a great way to connect to seeing how there's an aspect of myself here, right, that's coming through. For me to honor, to accept, to realize I can gain strength from, I can gain a perspective from. And just so we can know, what is this third piece, when it comes to this revelation, this belonging that will come through for us. And we have the goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance. A lot of fiery energy here, heart center. Again, a lot of symbology tends to be with spheres, so spheres are the symbol for the divine feminine, divine goddess, right? You can think about your yoni space, the womb space, the portal of creation. And here's portal 2 times coming through. And she's actually holding that lotus at the center of her heart. And she has money, abundance trickling down. Lakshmi is, I choose to feel abundant. Wealth is an inside job. And so again, there's an overflow, there's a vortex, there's something within you, there's wisdom, guidance going to be coming through. And pay attention this week, whether you take a journal out, whether you go and, write it down, right? The practice, especially with journaling, it gets the inspiration, the nudges, the wisdom guidance that you get from above, from your higher self, down onto paper and into a physical manifestation first, right? And through there, you kind of allow yourself to begin to feel that energy coming through in terms of, what is this meant for me to take action on? And so that's why we look towards the oracle. That's why we look through different tools of divination, so that we can gain perspective exactly where the energy is right now in our life. In this case, we're kind of looking ahead in terms of, what is coming up right now, especially with the full moon. I tend to experience it, and maybe you guys too experience it a couple days beforehand. And so this one, I wanted to tune in as well with you. You know, wealth is an inside job. And Lakshmi personifies the splendor and affluence that arise when we align our every action with what the soul desires most for us. Every action. So reverence for the Hindu goddess Lakshmi dates back to, you know, beyond, it says here, first millennium BCE. So she's known as the goddess of wealth, fortune, and prosperity. Her name is derived from the Sanskrit roots Laksh and Laksha, which means to know, to understand, or to have a goal. And being that goddess Lakshmi is the wife of the Hindu god Vishnu, there's always celebration when it comes to seeing her, right? Because she brings a message of abundance and fortune. Then, you know, you can know, okay, so what's on this other side, you know, of this, me taking a look at within, right? Especially with the energies going to be high this week or deep in the fields, you want to allow yourself plenty of that amplitude, right, of time to kind of tune into yourself, to come inward. And here you can see that she's holding a lotus, which is symbolic of the fact of that great beauty arises from the dark of richness of the earth under any circumstances, which is the symbol of lotus. The lotus thrives in the field in the waters that are muddy. And it, in spite of all that, thrives. It's beautiful, right? And so all that's needed for the lotus to thrive is the right conditions, divine timing for it to bloom. And so it says here that Lakshmi is all about understanding that the goal in life is to realize the abundance of the soul. That actually reminds me of this message that I read or listened to today about Abraham Hicks. And when it comes to, I like to describe it embodying your higher self. Some people call it like quantum leaping, right? And when it means to really receive that manifestation in a pace, in a rate where there's not so much resistance to it for you receiving it. And that goes back to the quote that, you know, really we're always just making space for us to receive. And Abraham Hicks in that message said today, she was saying how abundance of overflow is really just a requirement of you to be focused and you to feel in to your intention, to feel good, to know what it is when in every waking moment, consciously, you are aware of when you feel good, when you feel excited, when you feel pleasure. And then to keep allowing yourself to dive deeper into the vortex of pleasure and, you know, where your nervous system feels at ease, right? Think of those moments when you feel good. And the more you do that, the more you can kind of think of like her dripping all those golds right there in her right hand, all the coins, you know, the flow of abundance begins to open. And the more that you just trust in that nudge and that intuition, and you take action on it, that's the whole point, that I'm feeling into this, I'm embodying it. Where do I feel that the energy wants to go? And then when I finally take that action and step, I just realize, whew, it feels great, right? And so with that, it's just noticing those moments and allowing yourself to be present in those moments even more and more and more. And yes, sometimes there are ebbs and flows, again, with like a wave where I feel like I'm either not in the mood, I feel like I'm alone, maybe I'm feeling in the opposite waters, right? Those emotions where I'm not feeling in the high vibrational state. I'm just not feeling it today. Allow yourself to feel it for a moment. And then as one of my mentors, Anna says, she says, that is the point of the feminine, to be aware of your own empowerment, your own power. And then you have a safe container, like a safe space to feel into those moments, to be the investigative authority and realize, why is it coming up? Allow me to face that, because through that being aware, it's where I'll find the revelation of, clarity. That's where I'll find, hey, this is the thing that has been stopping me from the overflow, from stopping and meeting my abundance, and stopping and meeting that divine timing moment. And it says here with Lakshmi that when your soul selects this card, abundance looks different to each of us. And so some people have incalculable material wealth, but are poor, essentially, are robbed of a sense of purpose or a greater vision for their life, and so are left feeling lost. Ooh, okay, so there we go, clarity. I was wondering, what else did you want to say about this card? So if we go on that note, we have a bunch, we know we are abundant, right? There's that part of our soul, that essence part of you that knows that truth. But there are moments where we don't feel it, where we feel lost, right? We don't feel abundant. We don't feel wealthy. And so sometimes some people in the physical, and we're talking about like money and coin, right? There are some who might be considered, poor. And that is one aspect. And I'm just looking at the deeper root here. So some might be considered poor in financial wealth, but walking around radiating love. So it's all about an energy. Lakshmi is that auspicious that begins to bloom in our life when we align our every action with the work our soul has come here to do. And just repeating that, when Lakshmi comes up, she's the auspiciousness. She's that symbol, the energy that says that whenever you begin to align every action with the work of your soul that you're here to do, that's when things begin to bloom. So you will start seeing, and you do see it, whenever you take an action step, the universe responds. You start seeing it's a reaction, because the law of cause and effect. Every cause that there's made, a ripple effect is received, right? And pay attention to those waves. She reminds us that the ultimate goal is not just making money, but being able to know our true bliss. Being able to know that, the vortex of abundance is within me. And going back to Abraham Hicks, she said that, the moment that you see, that you test yourself, right, with just one thing of fully committing, fully being focused, fully being devoted, being devoted into the feeling of your own intuition and feelings and emotions, within that sense of, embodiment, and you can accomplish and receive this one thing, when that's done, check it off, right? Because then what's that next thing that you can do to prove yourself, to trust yourself? I've already trusted myself in this. This is what I needed to do, Virgo, to get done through devotion, through, divine, devoted discipline, right? And I got it. So what else are you gearing up to prepare for, right? And think about what makes you feel lit up while you're doing it. What work doesn't feel like work at all, right? And so Lakshmi is like that kind of wink and intuitive nudge to find the vocation, the bliss, so that what is within you comes into full bloom through something we can do and show the world. Lakshmi represents both the gold we can hold in our hands and the gold we can become by doing the work that feeds our souls. So there's always two different things, again, going back to physical and the spiritual. You receive abundance, you are radiating abundance, right? The most important thing is to make sure that your energy, your focus, your centers are in abundance mode. She's a reminder that true abundance doesn't come from our bank statement. It comes from a state of mind we enter when we know we are contributing great worth to the world in the effort of becoming more love. So it comes from a state of mind when we enter, that we know we are contributing great worth, that we know what we're giving, what we're sharing is of value, and you believing that is emanating from you, because you are abundant, you are divine. So any meditations, these cards always have a meditation. When do I feel the most abundant? Begin to kind of like ask yourself, when do I feel, what are the moments of my day? What are the practices that I do when I feel abundant, right? And using that as a portal to kind of, as a self-care practice, to tune into that energy and vibration. And then an intention to set is, I choose to feel abundant. Wealth is an inside job. And just tuning into that and allowing that to resonate and sit in. Last final message. Miao-Shan, the Princess of Mercy. Giving is receiving. The energy of the universe is merciful. And so anything that you've been holding back, and just in general, anything that you've been holding back from sharing just freely, and especially for those of us who are light workers and those what we call like soulpreneurs, right? And giving, and giving is in so many different forms. Anything that you've had that held that knowledge, that nudge, the calling to come and show up and do something, and you haven't been doing it, just know that when you don't even know what you're going to receive, and you have no expectation, right? And you're not getting an expectation to get paid. When you do that and just show up anyways and do the thing that you're meant to do, know that Spirit always receives that, returns it back to you tenfold and more. Symbology here, cherry blossoms with Miao-Shan. And there's butterflies emanating. So for those of you who resonate with butterflies as a spirit animal, we also have tiger. Tiger tends to be abundant. And so these are just things in symbology to draw awareness to. Cats, tigers, 9 lives. And so, in terms of the overall, if you're feeling lonely right now, or if you're feeling lost, or you're feeling like something's missing, or there's something that's missing before I can do the next thing, just know that dive deep and face that. Do the thing anyways, right? Do it without expectation, knowing that you're going to be receiving something in return, whether it's in that now moment or later on with divine, intervention, right? Or through a message, it's going to be received and returned back. Know that we're all connected, and that when you allow yourself to venture off into those spaces, when you have trust in yourself and knowing that the deep vortex within you on the other side is transformational change. And that is what allows you, once you take that step into that deep void, that allows you to, through the deep void of fear, through the deep void of like doubt, confusion, that feels like you're confused, right? When you allow yourself to go through those emotional states, when you allow yourself to take action and transmute that energy through the body, that's how you know that within you all along you've had it, right? And so that was the message for this week. For those of you who is here, Embodiment Priestess, she mentioned that she had been practicing the new moon ceremony that she had the recording of it, and she felt activated. And so I invite you, if you resonate with the energy, the vibration of priestesshood and magic, those who you are looking for a safe space to connect with other divine beings who are in this lifetime, are devoted, committed to their higher selves, right? And we practice ceremony, ritual, and shamanic journeying. I help to assist us and moving the energy, connecting in terms of what is the spirit in terms of the full moon and new moon that wants to come through to assist us, planetary energies. And there's always an initiation that helps us to grow, right? Because that is the essence. A lot of the souls that I work with, especially like myself, we're not here just to coast, right? We're here because there's something that feels calling to us to express, to share in this lifetime. And a lot of my desire and work is to make normal, right? That the practices in terms of connecting with spirit, knowing, especially if you're a someone who's clairaudient, sentient, right? Clear in terms of your vision and senses, hearing, etc. To know that that is something that I can tangibly, ground and harness and embody, and not have it feel as if like it's intangible, right? And so you're invited to join the StarSeed Temple. It'll be this Friday, the 9th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And we have our ceremonies about an hour and a half to 2 hours, give or take, for some reflections to share. And anything else? The link is in the bio, Divine Cosmic Empress. That's where you can join the Patreon, where if you join just for that one, you get the recording. If you join for the whole month, it's $36. And for just one, time, that's $22 if you just do new or full moon. And then you always get the recording afterwards. And in terms of that, we'll be just honoring the full moon Pisces and seeing what comes through and what the initiations are for the next 2 weeks. Thank you so much for holding space, and for those of you who sat through this recording, I pray that the message blesses you, and have a great week. Satnam.